one, go.
Good afternoon, my name is Mackenzie Kints and I'll be representing the Crown today. The young person and 3 other adults approached the victim asking for his jacket. The victim refused, so one of the adults produced a knife. The victim then gave up his jacket. The youth then began to go through the jacket, taking the victim's wallet, cell phone, and some change. One of the adults then took the victim's bank card and convinced him to go to the ATM and give him the PIN number. One of the adults took $380 from the victim's bank account. The victim was also forced to give up his 2 rings and his watch. The ring has been recovered, but the jacket has not. The event has had a big effect. The 17-year-old victim has these items and been birthday presents saving from his job and his personal value. He says it made him feel powerless.
Can you please state what the value of the property was that was stolen and damaged by the young person?
Yes, the value was $380. The serious offense in terms of offenses, was the robbery, is at the higher end of the spectrum, being a straight indictable offense. Even though robbery is at the higher end of the spectrum, we must take into account the role of the young person played. In this case, he was not the one holding the knife, nor did he use the victim's bank card. The young person did not use any physical harm to the victim, but did cause emotional harm. The aggravating circumstances regarding the case are as follows. First, the young person has accepted responsibility for the robbery. Second, the youth in question went through the victim's pockets, obtaining his wallet, cell phone, and some change. Third, as he as part of the group, compelled the victims to disclose his PIN number. Fourth, the young person has a youth record beginning at age 13. Fifth, we must consider the fact that this is a robbery and it's the higher end of the spectrum. Circumstances regarding this case are as follows. First, the youth was the only minor in the group of 4. Second, he comes from a broken home, living with a disabled mother and 2 other siblings. Third, the youth has done well in his previous custodial dispositions. Fourth, he has expressed his great regret over his involvement. And fifth, he has no previous record of this sort of crime. How we're going to determine the portionment for the sentence. In this case, one of the adults involved pleaded guilty to the same charge, which is robbery, and received a 90-day intermittent sentence and received an order of restitution in the sum of $320. Since the adult received this sentence, the Crown submits this as a ceiling for the sentence of the young person. Are there reasonable sanctions other than the custody? Since the ceiling is a 90-day intermittent sentence and an order of restitution, the Crown submits that custody is not an option in this case. We submit that the young person should be sentenced to probation for a duration of 18 months, pay a restitution of $100 for the damages caused to the victim's clothing, and the youth must serve 80 hours of community service. The sanctions are meaningful. We must consider sanctions that are meaningful, and we must consider sanctions that are proportionate to the seriousness of the offense. First, we acknowledge that the young person pleaded guilty to the charge of robbery and that he takes full responsibility for his actions. Second, the youth, although involved, had less responsibility in the crime than the other participants, as he did not hold the knife or use the victim's bank card. We submit a probation period of 18 months, 80 community hours, and a restitution of $100. This will help the youth stay connected to the community and will help the young person rehabilitate in the best possible way. First, we object any custodial sentences. Second, we object any deferred custody sentence. As a result, the Crown submits that the court should sentence the young person to 18 months of probation, 80 community hours, community service hours, and restitution of $100. This allows the young person to be responsible for his actions and feel repercussions of his actions while simultaneously being one of the least restrictive sentences possible for the young person. Conclusion to this all, is, given our submissions, we confirm that the young person is guilty of robbery. The only question left to be answered is what the appropriate sentence for the young person under robbery. Section 3